Konrad works as a product design lead, as I said, at Delivery Hero. He has a background in in research psychology, usability and cognition. And he is here today to talk about delivering positive impact as designers in the organization. Now, he was inspired by his father, who is a software engineer, and he's always looking to find, what makes people tick and what kind of interactions are enjoyable for them. As mentioned, aside from that, he's really looking at how can we, as UX people, bring positive impact to the world. And he's here today to tell you about how he's doing that right now at Delivery Hero. Please welcome Konrad Piercey.
Thank you. You guys are also my new family, so thank you for joining me here today. We got the right clicker here, I hope. There we go. Look at that, perfect. Well, I'm super excited to be here with you guys today, and actually, I'm a little bit nervous because I have to share something with you first. I'm actually a super bad speller, and I thought I'd start off with something by sharing, something personal at the talk. I'm a very bad speller, and as one of the few native English speakers at my organization, I have to use the autocomplete all the time. You're typing on the phone or on the computer, you have autocorrect or autocomplete, you see the next word. It is super useful to me, but I had to finally come honest about it up on stage here. And autocomplete actually is using something a lot of applications use, and we don't even realize it, but that's machine learning. Machine learning is in a ton of applications that we love. Our voice assistants, we wouldn't have those. Google and Siri voice assistants, we wouldn't have those without machine learning. Driverless cars in the future, that definitely would not exist without machine learning. And my favorite example, that's your email spam filter. You'd be getting all those favorite spam emails right at the top of your list if it wasn't for machine learning. So machine learning is doing a lot for us, and it has a lot to do for us still in the future. So it's amazing. Let's all just remember that. A quick 20 seconds about me. My name is Konrad Piercey, as you heard. I've been designing products for 10 years in Berlin, in New York, in Shanghai, but now currently I'm at Delivery Hero, leading the teams at the core ordering flow for the restaurant menu. For anybody who doesn't know, Delivery Hero operates more than 12 different food delivery apps in 70 countries. And in the spring of this year, we actually generated 9.9 billion in GMV. That's a lot of tacos. So yeah, we're growing as an organization, and we have to meet the needs of our growing community. Machine learning has provided actually a new path forward for us. And hopefully with machine learning, we'll be better equipped to handle our growing customer base. Machine learning, or as we can call it from here on out, to make things easier, ML, has generated really the biggest challenge, I think, both for our organization and me personally as a designer. But first, let's just learn a little bit about machine learning from a colleague working in Delivery Hero on our teams there.
Hi everyone, I'm Alexandra and I work as a data scientist in Delivery Hero. I have been in the field of machine learning for around 15 years now. So in simple words, what machine learning tries to achieve is to build algorithms that incorporate complex mathematics and statistics in order to learn the correlation between given input data and output data. Meaning, given some input data, we use machine learning to predict what is the expected output. Sometimes we can also observe the patterns found by the algorithms without explicitly telling what to look for or telling the output. So, for example, using machine learning in Delivery Hero, we can forecast what dish you might want to buy next, or even identify a group of people that share similar eating and taste preferences like you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexandra, for recording that and sharing that with us today. So machine learning is connecting data, input data and output data. We affect the machine, and in turn, the machine affects us. This is the symbiotic relationship we're going to be talking about today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alexandra.
Get through this. There we go. So in my space of food delivery services at Delivery Hero, without machine learning, we're unable to suggest interesting meals, help you lose weight, or recommend that new popular pizza restaurant that just opened up next door. All of these tasks require some level of algorithmic learning. The same features also have the ability to degrade or hurt user health, if not implemented carefully. Helping users to understand how ML is affecting their recommendations and their feed will be a key part of any strategy for machine learning design. In Delivery Hero, we're already exploring how we can communicate these data attributes to our users. This topic is of high interest to us because by the time today's talk's finished, by the time you guys go home after you've had way too much champagne, more than 500,000 people will have ordered on our services. So that's a lot of users we're affecting, so we keep that in mind when we make changes to our platform. With the use of machine learning, we can help make suggestions and better serve accurate results. It seems obvious there are a lot of advantages to machine learning, but are there any disadvantages? Are there any negatives? Before we get into that, I want to share a quick number with you guys. It's definitely not any surprise to our audience out here today. We've all seen the signs, and eating online or ordering through online is probably not the healthiest eating you do each week. Actually, 70% of online food ordering users think they eat less healthy when ordering through an app. 70%. That's direct from our actual personal audiences that Delivery Hero engages with. But it doesn't end there. Actually, Grubhub and other applications, Grubhub is a large popular food delivery service in the US, they also noted that 70% of their users use their application to order high-calorie meals or large meals that aren't necessarily too healthy for the diet. We're talking, like pizzas and burgers. Considering that the majority of users who actually do use online food delivery apps are between the age of 19 and 29, that's 63% of the user base is between this age range. That means that online food delivery has a major impact, and the impact to future outcomes of people moving into the world. So this is something that's going to last with us for a while. We don't want to make people unhealthy. That's not our goal. Big picture here, as we can see, health is important. I can see this is obvious based on how our audience is looking. You guys are staying fit, active, I'm sure. But clearly, we have some work to do. We have some improvements we can make for online food delivery. With that number, 70% of users who think ordering online is unhealthy, maybe machine learning can help us with this. Maybe it can help solve some of these issues. With digitalized experiences that are focused on providing online services, machine learning can be a huge effector to these applications. Machine learning, or ML, is there to make suggestions, change our feeds, to provide what we're looking for. But without the correct input data, we can't produce the best results. And machines are not the ones choosing the input data. We are, the humans. For algorithms in the food delivery space, or social media, or even our previous speaker here today at Netflix, at the highest level, all of these work identical. Based largely on your input, the system rewrites its output to better suit your wants. The system is there to fulfill your wants, not necessarily your needs. In order for a system to know exactly your needs, there must be a set standard for positive and negative outcomes for each individual user. So what's best for Joe over here may not be best for Jane over here. And their feeds or suggested content are different, and they probably should be. The problem is, how do we determine what content to show to each user? Well, best is subjective, and in the end, it should really be probably not up to a designer anywhere, somewhere on the other side of the world, to determine what's best for me or you. That would probably require a designer for each one of us in the audience, for every user of the application, and that's for sure not going to scale. Nor does it take into the moral argument of, is that right or wrong? Who should be deciding what is good or bad for us? That moral debate, which I'm sure would be very interesting, we're not going to have that here today. That'll be in the next talk. No, one designer for every user, customizing their individual feed so that the content is more relevant No, that's why we have machines to do it for us. Yes, machine learning is there in particular to create those customized experiences, individual changes to our feeds for every user. That can be your YouTube feed, your Instagram feed, or even your food delivery app. YouTube, Instagram, Spotify all have these unique feeds for each one of you in the audience. And a product's feed's relevance is in large part the reason for many of these products' success stories. What makes them so good, they're curated for us. But what makes them so good is exactly what makes them somewhat dangerous. In a large majority of consumer applications, efficient and effective algorithms are there to increase engagement or sales. Setting these two goals, engagement and sales, as the main driver of success, well, that might undermine other values which are important to users. Unrestricted, unrestrained machine learning might lead to unhealthy behavior. Is it possible for an algorithm to be too effective? How many YouTube users do we have in the audience today? Just a quick show of hands. Okay, everybody. That's great. Yeah. On many services, new safety nets are having to be put into place because of the lack of self-control on our part, on users' part. And this is largely being driven by the effectiveness of machine learning. Combined with the efficiency and accuracy of the system, the format and type of content that application is pushing to the user, it's hard for us to know when we might be overindulging. By design, the system, the machine, it doesn't know when it's doing too good of a job. This is the fallacy of the machine. This is the error. Humans are the only ones who are able to put in mechanisms to counteract the efficiency and the effectiveness of the machine itself. Instagram, TikTok, and many others also have similar features to discourage users from developing bad habits. The real question is it enough? Is it enough? Also, more particularly, who made the decision to say how much content was too much? Now that's going to leave you thinking. Who's making the decision to say how many burritos or pizzas I should be eating each week? It's definitely too many burritos, but I don't want anybody telling me that. Okay, all right. So this feed stuff, this is just social media platforms and big tech. This can't be a larger issue for communities of the world. Let's take a step back for a second. Let's take a step back and understand the scale of this new technology. The growth of data and AI is actually very compelling. This is a snapshot from Firstmark, a huge investment fund. 50 billion with a B, was invested in AI and ML technologies in the last 12 months. Stanford University in the US reported more than double the money was invested in AI and ML between 2020 and 2021. That's a lot of money. And where is that money going? If you take a look at some of these snapshots from investment funds, some of the major ones out in Silicon Valley, you'll see that's going to marketing, sales, and customer acquisition. ML, deep learn, and AI is growing, and it's growing fast. And now is the time for building solutions. At Delivery Hero and my teams, we're thinking about this growth and how we can factor that into our decision making. What would help us is if our team had some kind of Northern Star, yeah? Some sort of guidance on best practices for the use of AI and machine learning. Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. Well, in fact, some good things are already being done. So just recently, UNESCO member states adopted the first ever global agreement on the ethics of artificial intelligence. That's close to 200 countries. What are these agreements? What do they define? Well, one statement in those agreements, and it's a huge manifesto, agreements that these countries signed on to, people should be fully informed when a decision is informed by or is made on the basis of AI algorithms. So when the AI is suggesting or making decisions for you. That's pretty interesting. It seems quite relevant, actually. In the world of AI and ML, there's guidance documentation. And these values help to define how we should approach the integration of new technologies. But in tech, we have not done a great job at adhering to these or to adopting them. into our standards. So it's time for us to step up and do our part. That's all of us here in the audience today, whether we're in the business of selling videos, music, or food. At Delivery Hero, we understand our users are growing with the changing times. We know they care about where their food is coming from, who's making it, and how the food they eat affects their overall health. But it's not an easy challenge. Again, that's where we might be able to have the assistance of machine learning. Machine learning can help automate some of this. People want to eat healthy, but the environments we stage them in don't always facilitate that goal. If we use ML, how do we best counteract the negative effects of machine learning? That's through design. Thankfully, our industry has some good partners on understanding public health markers. With the help of the WHO, the World Health Organization, the food industry is actually a bit more clear when it comes to guiding users on healthy habits. The WHO has general standards for the public, actually. These health standards are based on your general body mass and average calorie intake. So one example here is that for an average adult, you should consume at least 400 grams of fruit and vegetables each day. I definitely don't do that, but I'm trying. I'm doing my best. These health standards are great and are certainly a good direction for the food industry to follow, but we need to be careful not to limit to users too heavily. Choice is a key part of our platform and many other apps. It's not the intention of the software to be a barrier to users, preventing them from accessing the products they would like to see and order. With machine learning integrations, we must walk a very thin balancing line, yes, between too heavily restricting users and not doing enough to protect their health. You guys like this avocado guy working out? I chose this out. I thought you guys liked that. Especially his little butt cheeks there. He's getting a good lift. Yeah, cool. Wow. So we've learned a lot so far in just a few minutes. Food delivery is super popular, but specifically with unhealthy foods. Machine learning is a huge industry being used by most of our popular apps, and it has great advantages, but potentially a few downsides. And lastly, ML presents a new opportunity to solve for our bad habits. But how do we balance the impact? Healthy habits are hard, but machine learning design doesn't have to be. So inside the menu and machine learning teams at Delivery Hero, we have built a guide to inform our decision making for how best to integrate ML. 2 words define this approach: disclosure and transparency. Okay? Making new or hidden information known. When it comes to machine learning, these lead our decision making to ensure we're building solutions that are socially responsible. This approach, also known as GDML, guides us in our effort to build socially responsible designs. Good design machine learning. Through the use of intelligent design, we aim to improve the relationships between users and machine. With disclosure and transparency being the foundation, there are 3, it's not too many to count here, 1, 2, 3. There are 3 design pillars which we use to help guide the UI, okay? That's educate, educational, show the numbers. Try to teach the user something new, something valuable, which is not naturally understood. 2, keep it simple. Try to display this through a simple graphic. We know the phrase, pictures can speak 1,000 words. Don't write a book here, okay? UX copy is super important. And lastly, come on guys, let's make it fun, okay? If I'm using a product and I don't have a smile on my face, I'd probably rather use something else, yeah? Let's do our part, our best to put a smile on a few more people's faces. We all know the world could use a few more of those. So with these 3 foundational elements, we can start to make some progress, not only in Delivery Hero, but as an industry. This framework that I've shown you here today can be applied to machine learning anywhere in the consumer sectors. Let's take a look at a few examples, though. So with GDML, good design machine learning, we can see in the space of food delivery, we have a good opportunity to make clear how our systems are affecting the habits of our users. We don't say what is good or bad, we just inform the user how their actions make an impact on the algorithms. And of course, how the system is impacting them. As you can see with these 3 bar graphs, the user has started changing the type of food they order, particularly the time. They're consuming 12% more exotic noodles. And they've also formed a new habit here. They're doing a lot of late-night ordering. I'm not sure that's too healthy. But we've not dictated whether this is good or bad, just that a new trend has emerged. With this information display, we see how their impact and use of our services change the system, change their feed, and may be affecting the habits. What if we take a look at another example? Does anybody know this feed design? Does this look familiar? In social applications like Facebook, we can make clear when users are consuming unique paths of content or deviating from the group normal. Educating users on the metadata of their content is key here. Of course, every business needs to walk a delicate path of knowing which data they can share with their users and which data should stay private for competitive security. Again, in this graphic display, we don't suggest which path is good or bad. Okay, we're just informing. Lastly, notice we don't overwhelm the user with too many data points. We're keeping it simple. What about this one here? Does anybody know this one? Yeah, so although Amazon doesn't seem like a good fit for the design principles of GDML, good design machine learning, you can still find ways of highlighting useful information of how the system is affecting the user. Consumer goods e-commerce platforms also use ML. Within that framework, they're suggesting purchasable items to the user. These products are fed through ML algorithms for best results. And with GDML, we must think about what information might be useful to the user to better understand their growing habits, their growing consumptions. You can see here, I've highlighted in the bottom right an example, some product sectors that users most ordering from. But how else might we envision this? Perhaps seeing what nations produce most of the products they order. Are they ordering a lot of products that are made in China, in the US, in Italy? Spoiler alert here, most of the products you are buying are made in China. But yeah, with the representation and presentation of data, try to find unique ways of keeping it fun and interesting. Use different data visualization techniques to draw in the user's interest. So we've shown you 3 examples here today, but a quick note on impact and validation. How do we know what we built is meaningful? This is always important. So soft qualitative metrics must be contrasted against hard quantitative metrics. I'm talking here about user interviews versus live data analytics, okay? Eye tracking, dwell time, click-through rates are always super helpful. When using click-through rates specifically, I would say make sure there's some non-obstructive CTA for your implementation, a call to action, yeah. A place where users can learn more. And by tracking that click-through rate on there, you'll be able to see how serious users are about diving deeper into the topic of their data. Inside Delivery Hero and our family of food apps, we won't know the real results for some time. But we do know what users are asking for. And the solutions I've shown you here today are our best effort to provide what's right for the customer. As all of you here today represent design industry leaders, we come together for a single purpose: to design better. Let me get a quick raise of hands here. Who here thinks they can make a difference in design? Who here thinks they can make any difference in design? Does anybody? A few hands slowly coming up, okay. All right. Those of you still with your hands down, you can also make an impact. Yes, we all can make a difference. And we will make a difference. Everyone in this room has an obligation, not only to your users, but to your family, to your friends, to yourselves, and the people that come after, to build a world where we can be better prepared and live more in tune with our new technologies. Do good, be good, design good. If you believe in designing for better, feel free to share this with your friends and spread awareness. You can also reach out to me via the email. Thank you very much. It's been an honor to speak with you guys here today.